This video is me telling you to overthrow the tyrannical imposition of the 440 standard tuning. All hail the perfect fourths tuning.
Booyakasha, but me and my main man, Mr. Monkey, wonders what's this fourth tuning all about? So you have to explain a bit.
Okay, so the fourths tuning simply means that there is a fourth interval for every adjacent string on the guitar. So the fourth tuning is from the low E, E, A, D, G, C and F, which means that it's the same as the standard tuning, except on the top two strings the strings have been raised half a step, or a semitone. This creates a quite beautiful symmetry which has quite many uses, which we will explore later in this video. The standard tuning is not symmetrical and is based on fourth interval up to the G string, but then from the G to the C string there is a major third interval. Now it's tuned this way probably because it's quite easy to play some beautiful open voicings for chords, but for our purposes with the creativity and improvisation, this can provide an obstacle to letting your creativity flow.
Alright, so we understand there's some symmetry in this fourth tuning, yeah? But what's the implications that makes us want to tune to the fourth, yeah?
So, why should you tune to fourths? Well, as I said, it's a symmetrical tuning, which means that there are less shapes to memorize, less energy needed for your brain to cognize patterns, and it means that once you learn one new pattern or shape, you don't have to learn different versions of it depending on where you're on the neck. It's just one pattern that you have to learn. Now, an example for this. If I say I'm in the fourth tuning here, and if I play a C major 7 arpeggio, I learn it. Then all I need is to find another C on the neck wherever I find a C, and I can play the exact same shape and get a C major 7 arpeggio using the same shape. Now, with the standard tuning, this is of course not possible because of because it's not being symmetrical. If you, for example, take this shape 7, 6, 5 on starting from the A string, and then from the D string and then to the G string on a standard tuning, that's going to be an augmented chord, then a major chord, and then a minor chord. Just even though it's the exact same shape. So this fourth tuning allows you to improvise and create stuff much more freely and spontaneously, because you don't have to rote memorize all these different versions of a minor and major chord. Every shape is identical because of the symmetry everywhere on the neck.
Pros and cons.
Okay, pros and cons. The pros of this tuning is, of course, it strives to make it easier for your mind to think about how to creatively express yourself without having to deal with a lot of differences in the shapes and forms of things. And it's a perfect tuning for perhaps the intermediate or advanced player who enjoys maybe a logical approach and symmetry in general. It's perfect for people who enjoy improvisation also, where it facilitates the creative outlet of mind, as opposed to, as I said before, having to rote memorize maybe three different shapes for a single arpeggio, depending on where you're on the neck. And there are, of course, cons to this tuning. And one con is, of course, when playing simpler chords such as the barré chords, major minor chords, or when you want to play around the campfire or play some pop song with your friends. Because the top two strings are half a step higher, you have to adjust. So you can still play the major bar chord, for example, like this. So instead of barring straight down, you catch the top two strings half a step lower. The minor chord becomes a bit annoying because the long motherfucker is has to have quite a stretch here. But with some work, it's possible to still play some simpler chords, and for example, the open G chord looks like this. Making covers and following strict tabs can be annoying at times, because perhaps there is a different skip that is easier in the standard tuning, or if there is an open string riff, then it becomes an obstacle, even though there are creative ways to work around that, of course. Okay, so to summarize this lesson, the tuning is probably not the first thing you want to do as a beginner, but as an intermediate player or higher, once you start getting a hang of scales and arpeggios and stuff, you want to create your own material, this tuning can work wonders. And to walk to the peak of a mountain where you can stand free and play whatever you want, the road becomes a lot shorter with this tuning, because, as I said earlier, there are a lot less things you have to memorize by this tuning being symmetrical. Thanks for watching. If you like it, like and subscribe, and maybe comment if you have some questions. See you next time.